Have you ever stopped to think about what we're really made of? According to physics, we're practically ghosts. It sounds strange, I know, but that's exactly it. The atoms that make up our bodies, and everything in the universe, are practically empty space. To give you an idea, 99.9999999% of each atom is empty. What gives shape to you, me, a tree, a table, everything around us, is almost nothing. But how is this possible? Let's understand better. An atom has a tiny nucleus made up of protons and neutrons, and around it are electrons. If an atom's nucleus were the size of a soccer ball, the nearest electron would be almost a kilometer away. And between the nucleus and this electron, there would be absolutely nothing but empty space. This means that, when we think of ourselves as solid beings, in fact, we are made almost entirely of emptiness. The question that arises next is inevitable. If we are nearly empty, why can't we walk through walls? The answer lies in the invisible forces that govern the universe. Electrons orbiting the nucleus have a negative electrical charge, and when two objects approach each other, the charges of their atoms repel each other. This repulsion creates an invisible barrier that holds everything in place. That's why, when you touch a wall with your hand, you feel the sensation of touch, but in reality, you never actually touch anything. What you feel is simply the electrical force repelling the atoms in your hand against the atoms in the wall. This completely changes the way we view the human body. If we are practically empty space, what keeps us standing? The answer is energy. The atoms that make up our bodies exist because they are supported by the fundamental forces of nature, the electromagnetic force, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, and gravity. Invisible to the naked eye, these forces organize particles and maintain the structure of matter. In short, we are not simply solid matter, we are energy organized in an incredibly complex form. To visualize this more clearly, think of a soccer stadium. Imagine that the nucleus of an atom is an ant right in the center of the field. The electrons would be like tiny flies flying around in the stands. Everything else, from the field to the empty stands, would represent the empty space within an atom. Now imagine that your entire body is made of trillions and trillions of these empty stadiums. And yet, here we are, living, breathing, and believing we are solid. This perspective brings up profound reflections. If we are more energy than matter, who are we, after all? Is consciousness also a form of energy? Does what we call self go beyond what we can see and touch? Many scientists, philosophers, and even spiritual traditions have reflected on this. Physics doesn't provide all the answers, but it shows us that reality is very different from what our senses perceive. When you look in the mirror, you see a solid form. But, at the quantum level, you are an ocean of energy and emptiness. Perhaps that's why so many spiritual traditions say we are more than flesh and blood. Modern physics itself already suggests this. So, according to physics, we are, in a way, ghosts. Not ghosts in the sense of hauntings, but in the sense of being formed almost entirely of emptiness, sustained by invisible forces that maintain our existence. We are energy organized in such a perfect way that it gives us life, consciousness, and identity. And now I ask you, how does this vision change the way you see yourself? Do you still consider yourself just matter, or something beyond?